And welcome to the session. This session is a special session. It's a teaser talk, which will last approximately 15 minutes. After the end of the teaser talk, my colleague Cedric is happy to answer your questions in private. Hello, Cedric. Good afternoon.
Hi, Daria.
Well, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Daria. Let's first start by saying that we probably all agree that we are in the middle of a crisis that has multiple facets, which I will not discuss today, but that has a dimension that brings us all together here during this sustainability conference. And that is, and that is the ecological awareness. The ecological awareness that is reshaping the way we think and behave, and that ultimately as well will reshape the way we as chemical companies collaborate and operate. So let me try to go to the next slide. It's not working that well. Okay, sorry about that. So as I said, we are in front of a huge challenge which seems insurmountable. But history has shown that when species are in front of an unsurmountable challenge, it is in that particular time that they evolve. And this is exactly the same for allnex. We are evolving and pushing our technologies beyond boundaries to reduce our impact on the environment. We are doing everything we can to reduce our carbon footprint. There are several ways of reducing a carbon footprint, and one way to do it on product level is by incorporating biogenic carbon or C14 content that is adhering, of course, to certain guidelines in a product. But we all know that a bio-based product alone is not enough. There are much more market requirements, such as, for example, cost or performance that needs to be fulfilled when we design a bio-based product. Hi everyone, my name is Cedriv D'Hulst. I'm the marketing manager for industrial coatings within the radiation curable business unit. And today I will try to tease you and introduce you the bio-based UV-PUD toolbox that will help you to incorporate C14 content in your coating formulations and help you to do it without a huge or tremendous reformulation work and keep your flexibility in your business. So let's dive into the topic. As I said, the need for C14 based products is increasing in the market. This is because, of course, of ecological awareness, but this is as well driven by consumers that are looking for greener products, but as well brands that are pushing through certain guidelines. For example, today we will focus on the UV-curable polyurethane dispersion chemistry for application in furniture, kitchen cabinetry, and floor coatings. And one of the brand owners there, which you probably all will know, is IKEA. IKEA published what they call the guidelines for better carbon, which are basically pushing coating formulators to incorporate C14 or recycled content in their coating formulations. And this content will increase over time. So, which means that you need to have a higher C14 content in your coating formulations moving in front of time. So, it's pretty clear that we have a drive towards C14 content in products. But as I said, a bio based product alone is not enough. The reason it's not enough is because there are many other requirements. Think about cost, for example. I think that we are entering into a recession today, and it's pretty clear that the buying power of consumers is reduced, and probably a consumer will not be ready to pay more for a green product. This is not one example. Or another example, imagine you need to develop a bio-based system for a waterborne primer and a bio-based system for waterborne top coat. It's pretty clear that in terms of performance, you will need to adhere to different parameters. So what we see here is that we probably don't have one product that fits all, and that the amount of formulation work to adhere to these market standards and to what brand owners are requiring is huge. And what we did as allnex, we thought about that and we went back to the drawing boards and thought about developing a toolbox containing a limited number of products that could be used to access or at least to adhere to a panoply of parameters. For example, if you look to the chart to the left, basically what I tried to do here is to explain when you need to develop a product that is in a certain zone. Imagine you need to develop a product that has a C14 content, but where supply reliability is key. For example, a product that goes in multiple formulations. Or imagine that you need to develop a product that is C14 based, but where the cost is an important factor. For example, this could very much apply to primer system. Or one where supply cost and performance is important, for example, in a top coat. So you can imagine already how much work it could take you to develop a coating formulation for all these different criteria. And this is where our bio-based UV-PUD toolbox comes into play. So to the left, you see the constituents of the toolbox. So the toolbox comprises of three products. The first one is the UC code 7999, which is a commercially available product with 22% of C14 content. The second is the UC code 7998, 46% of biocarbon. It's still in prototyping. And then we have an experimental product called IRR1074, which is 75% in C14 content. So you see that we have three products which could work at standalone that have a different performance profile, a different C14 content, but as well important to mention, a different cost. The higher you go in C14 content, the lower in cost. Yes, you heard me well. So the higher you go in bio-based content, the lower in cost. However, the performance profile will differ, but I will go back to that later. We saw really the power of combining these three products in a toolbox and in a blending approach. This is why, to show you and as well to give you access to that, we invested into a software which is called the GMP software, where you can input certain set of parameters and the result gives you a certain combination of blends, of three component blends in this case, that adhere to this parameter. So to illustrate this example, so to the right, you see this triangle. So basically what we have done there is we inputted that we wanted to have a blend that is over 40% in C14 content. Every point or combination below the red line will adhere to that parameter. The power of the software is that you, of course, can combine it with other factors. For example, imagine cost or imagine hardness. So you could input that in this software and the result will give you a tree blend that is adhering to these different parameters. So you already see here the power of combining only three products that will give you access to a wide number of potential applications, ranging from primer, sealer to top coat, and also in different markets. To further illustrate this, we have made as well here an illustration of two component blends. So these are not three, but two component blends, because the toolbox gives you the opportunity not necessarily to go to three blends, but you could also potentially blend two products. To the left, you see a blend between the 22% containing UC code 7999 and the 46% containing C14 containing UC code 7998. This would apply more for a top coat formulation. And here you see that if you would, for example, want to boost your C14 content by increasing the content of 7998, you would slightly reduce your stain resistance, as you see, but importantly, increase your C14 content and reduce your cost. So which is important depending on which top coat you are targeting. To the right, you see a more prominent example where we combined the IRR1074, which is containing 75% of C14 content, with the 46% C14 containing 7998. And here you see that the more you increase your C14 content, of course, you have to compromise on performance. On the other hand, you drastically reduce your cost, meaning that you can develop a primer which is very high in bio-based content and still very affordable. So I think here we really visualized the power of this toolbox, which we will be launching soon in the market, and we would be happy, of course, to discuss with you in private. So the purpose of today was just to tease you, was not to give you the full details. And I hope I managed to stimulate your interest. And I would be, of course, more than happy to answer all your questions, and you can find my email there. And what I would like to say as well, please try to tune in at 4:15 p.m. For the lecture of my colleague Michel Tielemans, as he will deep dive more into our UV curable sustainable offering and how to combine C14 with biomass balance. And I think it's a great addition to this teaser here, and it will probably give you much more clarity and stimulate more questions which you can raise to me. So yeah, thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a good rest of the conference.
Thank you very much, Cedric. Thank you for this teaser. And as Cedric mentioned, he's there and he will be delighted to answer your questions in a session one-on-one. You can contact Cedric also on the platform via email, via sending him a message or scheduling meeting with him. Thank you again, Cedric, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Daria.
See everyone in the next session.